Ever since I was a kid, there's been a certain line of dialogue that's bothered me in Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen. On the SSN, right before you fight with your rival, he says this to you.
Bonjour, Gokey. Imagine seeing you here. Gokey, were you really invited? So how's your Pokedex coming? I already caught 40 kinds, pal. Different kinds are everywhere.
As a kid, I never came anywhere near having 40 Pokemon registered to my Pokedex by this point in the game. But then again, I never tried to. Whaddup Homedawgs! My name is Gokey Gamer, and today I'm going to see if it's possible to have 40 Pokemon registered in the Pokedex before your rival in Pokemon FireRed and LeafGreen with just one save file. Let's freaking do this! Alrighty, let's freaking do this, baby! So let's talk about how I'm going to go about this challenge. The goal is simple. I'm going to catch and evolve as many unique Pokemon as I can all the way up to where we encounter our rival on the SSN. However, to make things more interesting, I'm going to add some restrictions ranked from 1 to 3. The first restriction, and the obvious goal, is to see if I can get over 40 types of Pokemon all on my own without over-leveling past level 24, aka the ace of the 3rd gym leader, Lieutenant Surge's Raichu. This is to mimic as much of a regular playthrough as possible, as I doubt most people are going to dedicate a crap ton of time to evolving their starter all the way to their final evolution by this point in the game. If we're unable to meet this restriction, the second tier involves keeping the level cap but allowing trades with a different game. In this case, since I'm playing LeafGreen, I'd be trading with a FireRed copy. This would allow me to pick up some version exclusives as well as trade evolutions that are technically accessible as long as you have a buddy at the same point in the game as you. And finally, the last restriction is allowing complete evolutions. This is where we say screw the level cap, let's see if we can evolve our Pokemon to specifically spite this one line of dialogue in this game. Hopefully that all makes sense. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the world of Pokemon. After Professor Oak stops us from walking into the grass by ourselves, he brings me to our lab where rival Nova is awaiting us. Professor Oak then tells us to choose our starter, and the obvious choice here is Boxer the Bulbasaur. Not just because it's easily the best starter in the early game, as well as the fact that he gives us plenty of status moves to help make catching Pokemon easier, but because clearly Bulbasaur is the best Kanto starter, don't at me. And after a very narrow fight with our rival, with both of us getting crit and us living on a whopping 1 HP, I obtained Professor Oak's parcel in Viridian City, exchanged the parcel for the Pokedex, obtained a map from Nova's sister, and then get ready for our adventure to begin. Oh, and I also get my rare candy stash from the PC. Listen, I'm just looking to see if this challenge is even possible. I've got a life to live and I don't have all day to manually level up my Pokemon. Whether you like it or not, cheating in this case is absolutely based. Anyways, continuing on, I catch my first 2 Pokemon on Route 1. A Pidgey that I nicknamed Pidge, and a Rattata that I nicknamed O-Rats. After encountering the old man catching tutorial, I then head to Route 22 to catch a Mankey I named Manpower and a Spearow that I named Beaks. And then on Route 2, I catch a Caterpie named Fleet and a Weedle named... nice. We're already doing quite well. All of these Pokemon aside from Mankey will be able to evolve before the level cap, and both Caterpie and Weedle can evolve into their final forms almost immediately, giving me 4 more Pokemon for the Pokedex. And after catching a Pikachu in the Viridian Forest that I nicknamed Cheeks, we already have 12 Pokemon registered in the Pokedex. Not a bad start, but this is also going to be the biggest haul we can get for a while. After Boxer the Bulbasaur sweeps through Brock's gym easily with Vine Whips, he actually ends up evolving into an Ivysaur. Once we get that evolution, we continue our adventure to Route 3, where we capture a Jigglypuff that we name... whoops. I didn't really think that one through. It's alright though, we eventually catch one and name her Guildmaster. We also catch a female Nidoran that I nicknamed Queen, original I know, and... oh, well, what do you know? Turns out male Nidoran is in this game too. For whatever reason, in FireRed and LeafGreen, you can actually encounter both Nidoran forms in the wild. The only difference is in LeafGreen, the female Nidoran has a 14% chance to appear, while the male version only has a 1% chance, while in FireRed, it's reversed. I also forgot that you can actually obtain a traded male Nidoran in this game on Route 6 for a female Nidoran before Vermilion City, as well as a Nidorino for a Nidorina on Route 11, with the reverse being true for a FireRed. So I didn't really need to catch a Nidoran male here, but oh well. After getting through Route 3, I continue heading up towards the Mount Moon entrance, and I also purchased the outrageously expensive Magikarp, which I promptly evolved into a Gyarados, making my new current total of registered Pokemon 18. Not bad, but we've definitely started slowing down. I then head into Mount Moon, where I managed to catch a Zubat that I named Z, a Geodude that I named Pebble, a Paras that I named Zombie, and finally a Clefairy that I named Muna. Because I thought it would be funny to name a Pokemon after another Pokemon that doesn't exist in this game. I am a master at comedy. At this point, I'm actually going to hide the amount of Pokemon that I've captured. Believe it or not, while recording, I actually wasn't keeping track of how many Pokemon I had captured, so I'm going into this completely blind. However, I will bring back the total once I get the second gym badge. Let me know your predictions down below as to how many Pokemon I'll have by the time I get the second badge. After I capture every Pokemon available in Mount Moon, I then decide to say frick it and evolve both of my Nidorans into Nidorina and Nidorino, as well as my Pidgey into Pidgeotto, nabbing me a few more entries for the Pokedex. However, I end up running into a slight problem. In theory, I could actually evolve a whopping 4 more Pokemon in my PC. Clefairy, Jigglypuff, Nidorino, and Nidorina all evolve with a Moonstone. However, unfortunately, there's only 2 Moonstones available at this point in the game, both of them hidden away in Mount Moon. Yes, I can grab both of them, but that means I can only evolve 2 out of these 4 Pokemon. Man, it really sucks that there's no way I'm going to be able to... Wait, what? Clefairies can randomly be holding a Moonstone? Turns out, while researching, I somehow missed that in this game, Clefairies have a 5% chance to be holding a Moonstone upon capture. Meaning all I have to do is catch 1 more Clefairy holding a Moonstone, and then once I get through Mount Moon and pick up the 2 remaining Moonstones, I'll be able to evolve all 4 of my Moonstone evolutions on 1 save file. All I have to do is find another Clefairy with a Moonstone. Unfortunately, this part would be easier said than done. Not only do Clefairies only have a 5% chance to be holding a Moonstone, but they themselves also only have a 6% encounter rating on the bottom floor of Mount Moon. This was gonna take some time. All I'm gonna say is thank God for speed up, because this would have legitimately taken hours of my time if I didn't. My strategy for this involved depositing all my Pokemon minus by Ivysaur, then headed to Mount Moon and save my game once I reached the bottom level. Then I catch 5 Clefairies to see if any of them have a Moonstone. If they don't, then I reset my game and repeat the process. With speed up, this took about 20 minutes. I didn't record the full thing because I didn't want to eat up storage space, but part of me also wishes y'all could have seen the full process unfold. The 30th Clefairy I caught would be the one that ended up holding the second Moonstone I needed, and needless to say, I was very relieved when I found what I was looking for. Okay, so, this is my 30th Clefable. I've spent about probably 20-ish minutes, 20 to 30 minutes doing this. Let's see if it's a Moonstone, baby! It's a Moonstone! Let's go! Alright, we are chilling. Oh my god, I cannot believe it. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but that granted, this was probably like, this speed up is so fast, it's like 2,000% faster than the typical gameplay. So this probably would have taken hours without speed up, so I'm very glad that I have speed up now. Oh my god. To celebrate, I decided to go ahead and evolve Guildmaster Wigglytuff and Munna into Clefable. No, not Munna, the Clefairy named Munna, not an actual Munna. Munna isn't even in this game, remember? Then, after I make my way through Mount Moon, making sure I picked up the 2 overall Moonstones along the way, as well as the anti-Helix fossil, because I'm different! I finally reached Cerulean City. Once arriving, I immediately make my way to the PC to evolve both of my Nidos into their final forms, Nidoqueen and Nidoking. It's so weird seeing both of these Pokemon by this point in the game, but hey, this is massive for the Pokedex goal. I also briefly make my way back to Route 4 to catch a oh my god, why can't I say that? Catch a Sandshrew. I also briefly make my way back to Route 4 to catch a Sandshrew that I nicknamed Mouse, then I get ready to take on my rival on the Nugget Bridge. As Nova begins crap-talking us, I just smirk. Wait until he sees what I have in store for him. During our match, I show off all of my rarest Pokemon, with the Nidos taking care of Pidgeotto, my severely underleveled Wigglytuff and Clefable defeating Abra, my starter Ivysaur KOing Rattata, and finally my Gyarados knocking out Charmander. Seriously, Nova? You're crap-talking me when you don't even have a Charmeleon yet? Ha! I laugh at your pathetic attempt to beat me down. Now let us pass so that I can continue to add to my collection. After taking care of the Nugget? That sounds wrong. After taking care of the Nugget Bridge Gauntlet, I head to the grass patch on Route 24 to catch the LeafGreen exclusive Bellsprout that I named Blossom. And I also catch not just 1, but 2 Abras. The first one I nicknamed Kinesis, and the second one I named Pikachu. Cause you know, I thought it would be funny since unlike Munna, Pikachu is in this game. That's the joke. You can laugh now, I'll explain why I catch a second Abra a little bit later on in this video, so stay tuned for that. On Route 25, I end up evolving my Spearow into a Fearow, and then I finally head into Bill's house. Just kidding, of course I revert Bill back into his regular human self. After all, I do need the SSN ticket. Once I obtain the ticket, I head back into Celadon City, where I end up evolving my Abra into a Kadabra, my Rattata into a Raticate, and my Bellsprout into a Weepinbell. Then, I actually end up manually training Mouse and Z up until right before they level up to level 22. Cause I'm gonna make them evolve during the gym fight. Misty is then easily taken care of by my party of 6, and after the match, Mouse evolves into Sandslash, and Z evolves into Golbat. Once I get the Cat's Cage badge for my easy victory, I decide now would be a good time to check the Pokedex. Remember, I wasn't counting each Pokemon I registered while I was recording this, so I had no idea how far along I was in my Pokedex, although I imagined I was around 30 or so Pokemon. So imagine my surprise when I opened up my Pokedex. Alright, so I'm pausing the video I'm listening to record this part because I want to see 38. Wow. That is not. I was not expecting to have this much. I did not think I was going to be able to get this far. Legitimately, I didn't think I would have this many Pokemon by this point in the game at all in the slightest, so I'm honestly kind of shocked that I got this far, and I know there's going to be several other Pokemon we can catch, so we should have this in the bag, which is nuts. So now it's just going to become, how many Pokemon can we grab all together? Because now I'm very curious. Needless to say, it is in fact possible to have over 40 Pokemon by the time you reach the SS Sand. But let's see exactly how many Pokemon we can grab to show off to Nova. The only two Pokemon I catch on routes 5 and 6 are a Meowth that I named Coin, and surprisingly, another Spearow that I named Spears. Now, some of you might be wondering why I ended up catching a second Spearow. Well, it's actually the same reason I captured a second Abra. In-game trades. While it is true that trades with another game cartridge are banned, in-game trades are still on the table as you can easily access them with just one save file. In Vermilion City, I ended up trading Spears for a Farfetch'd named Chiding, and I trade Kinesis for a Mr. Mime named Mimin on the other side of Diglett's Cave. Before trading for Mr. Mime though, I do take my time to grab my final encounters of this challenge. A Drowsy named Trunks on Route 11, as well as a Diglett named Mole and a Dugtrio named Triad in Diglett's Cave. Now I know that Dugtrio is technically over the level cap, but since it's an available encounter at this point in the game, I decided to still catch it and count it. I also take the time to evolve Zombie into a Parasect, resulting in the final evolution in this challenge. Fun fact, the only Pokemon in my PC that haven't evolved yet are Pikachu, requiring a Thunderstone to evolve, which is unavailable at this point in the game, Geodude, which evolves at level 25, one level over Lieutenant Surge's level cap, Drowsy, which evolves at level 26, Mankey, which evolves at level 28, and finally Meowth, which also evolves at level 28. Since this isn't a Nuzlocke and just a casual playthrough, I could have justified evolving Geodude into a Graveler by this point in the game. But I decided against it, because clearly we don't even need it to complete this challenge. And now, with the ticket that Bill gifted me after turning him back into a human, I make my way onto the SS Sand. Well, this is it. After taking on all of the trainers on the SS Sand, as I have beaten every single trainer by this point in the game, I take one last look at my Pokedex to see how many Pokemon we've registered before taking on our rival. Alright, so here is the moment of truth. I have evolved every possible Pokemon at this point. I have captured every single Pokemon that I can have at this point. None of the Pokemon are above the level 24 level cap. And I'm very excited to see, I've also battled every other trainer as well, I should say. I'm very excited to see what our Pokedex is looking like. 3, 2, 1. Ladies, gentlemen, and everybody in between, it's a whopping 68 Pokemon seen and 45 Pokemon owned. Ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely possible to achieve more than 40 Pokemon by this point in the game. I am honestly shocked. I was not expecting this. Seen 68 Pokemon, owned 45 Pokemon. I'm legitimately just shocked at this point. This is absolutely crazy to me. So, and again, most people know this by this point probably, but you know what, it's fine. I won't lie, I was not expecting to hit the 40 Pokemon goal with my current restrictions. I figured I'd come close, but barely miss out on the big 40. So to see us not just hit this goal, but completely smash it was super cool to see. For those interested, if we allowed trades with the FireRed copy of around the same point in the game, we would have gotten 5 more entries with Oddish, Gloom, Ekans, Arbok, and Alakazam, making a total 71 Pokemon seen, as some trainers have Oddish and Ekans by this point in the game, and 50 Pokemon registered. Allowing full evolutions would have given us Graveler, Golem, Primeape, Persian, Hypno, Venusaur, and Pidgeot, making the total 78 Pokemon seen and 57 Pokemon registered. Unfortunately, Crobat isn't available in this game, so Golbat will stay as a Golbat. And I don't see any better way to end this little thing off than with a final battle with our rival. Let's go. As I walk towards my rival, I've got a massive smile on my face. As he brags about how he's caught 40 Pokemon, I already caught 40 kinds, pal. Different kinds are everywhere. Well, guess what? I caught 45. I am better than you. Let's go! Woo! I one-up him by saying I've caught 45, then proceed to swab the deck with his Pokemon, quite literally with his Raticate. Rest in peace, you little rat, you never stood a chance. And as Nova walks away as frustrated as ever, I triumphantly retrieve the cut TM from the SS Sand captain by curing his seasickness, then watch as the SS Sand sails away, knowing that I'm the ultimate victor in this endeavor. Turns out even Gary can be a pushover if he just remained dedicated to completing the Pokedex through any means necessary. And that's that! Turns out you can, in fact, catch more Pokemon than your rival in FireRed and LeafGreen. Quite easily, as a matter of fact. If y'all would like to see me do something like this again, then be sure to let me know by leaving a like, subscribing to the channel, and share this video with your friends. If you have any challenges or Pokemon myths you'd like me to debunk, then please let me know down in the comments below as well. I also recommend checking out my Ko-fi page linked down below. You'll be able to earn a ton of benefits related to not just this channel, but also my Pokemon Nuzlocke channel, Gokey Challenges, and my Pokemon Draft League channel, Gokey Battles. I'm hoping to make YouTube a career one day, so any support that you're able to give is always immensely appreciated. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to do all the YouTube things, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace out, mates!